Okay, so this story comes to us from Mustafa Gadaleri at Distractify. So, Tamika Cross is an OBGYN who was on a Delta flight out of Detroit when a man on the plane became unresponsive. Being a medical doctor, she reacted to the commotion by rushing to the man's aid to see if she could help him, being an upstanding citizen and all that jazz. However, Cross probably forgot for a second that this is America and we're still dealing with a bunch of racist idiots because the flight crew ended up restraining her. Apparently, they couldn't believe that a black woman could ever be a doctor. Here's what she had to say in a post in its entirety. I'm sure many of my fellow young corporate America working women of color can all understand my frustration when I say I'm sick of being disrespected. Was on Delta flight DL945 and someone 2 rows in front of me was screaming for help. Her husband was unresponsive. I naturally jumped into doctor mode as no one else was getting up, unbuckled my seatbelt and throw my tray table up. And as I'm about to stand up, flight attendants say, "Everyone stay calm. It's just a night terror. He is all right." I continue to watch the scene closely. A couple of minutes later, he is unresponsive again, and the flight attendant yells, "Call overhead for a physician on board." I raise my hand to grab her attention. She said to me, "Oh no, sweetie, put your hand down. We are looking for actual physicians or nurses or some type of medical personnel. We don't have time to talk to you." I tried to inform her that I was a physician, but I was continually cut off by condescending remarks. Then overhead, they paged, "Any physician on board, please press your button." I stare at her as I go to press my button. She said, "Oh, wow, you're an actual physician?" I reply, "Yes." She said, "Let me see your credentials. What type of doctor are you? Where do you work? Why were you in Detroit?" Please remember, this man is still in need of help, and she is blocking my row from even standing up while bombarding me with questions. I respond, "OBGYN, work in Houston, in Detroit for a wedding, but believe it or not, they do have doctors in Detroit. Now excuse me so I can help the man in need." Another seasoned white male approaches the row and says he is a physician as well. She says to me, "Thanks for your help, but he can help us, and he has his credentials." Mind you, he hasn't shown anything to her, just showed up and fit the description of a doctor. I stay seated, mind blown, blood boiling. Man is responding to the questions and is seemingly better now, thank God. Then this heifer has the nerve to ask for my input on what to do next about 10 minutes later. I tell her we need vitals and blood sugar. She comes back to report to me a BP of 80/50. Super low to my non-medical peeps, and they can't find a glucometer. We continue down that pathway of medical workup. But the point is, she needed my help, and I continued to help despite the choice words I had saved up for her. The patient and his wife weren't the problem. They needed help, and we were mid-flight. She came and apologized to me several times and offering me sky miles. I kindly refused. This is going higher than her. I don't want sky miles in exchange for blatant discrimination. Whether this was race, age, gender discrimination, it's not right. She will not get away with this, and I will still get my sky miles. Her Facebook post has received over 12,000 reactions and has been shared nearly 5,000 times. There's no update on whether or not Delta's responded to her remarks, but seeing the insane amount of traction this disgusting story has earned her, it's safe to say that Cross has more than a few sky miles in her future. Hopefully the flight crew on her fully paid for vacation to Tahiti aren't a bunch of discriminatory, condescending tools. Interesting, but not surprising. In the racial climate that we live in, I hate to say that I'm not surprised by this. I find it normal operating procedures here in America. So if you'd like more news updates or information, please subscribe to @yourblackworld.net. My name is Yurima Karama at Your Black World News.